Okay, video number 8 in the series, and this is where things start to get kind of thick. Herein, I determine that I've got everything I need to make the big steel tent operational. And where we go from here shows I might have been a bit optimistic, but let's listen to how I felt then. Hey YouTube! Now, when last we left our intrepid explorer, he had just finished breakfast and was about to embark on a trip to a place with a somewhat sinister name. Let's review. They do draw on the delta, and that's going to be part of the test that we'll be doing with the solar panels over here. But right now what I'm going to do is I am going to take the flying camera, a couple of bottles of water, put those in my haversack, get my walking staff, take you and the dog for a hike down to Angelic Demon Pond. Okay, now if you've been paying attention to the channel, you know that the sinister name of that pond, Angelic Demon Pond, was not as sinister as it sounds. I'll link to that video at the end of this if you haven't seen it. Now, upon return from our trip, this is what we determined on the solar panels. Okay, we were gone about 2 hours, me and the doggy. And in that 2 hours, we put 4, 5, 6% of available power back into the delta. First reaction, those solar panels are a real pain in the ass. Getting them aimed in the right direction. And they're also a little sporadic. There were times when I was reading 0 juice going in, and there was times when I saw 112 watts. Now, that is with 240 watts of available solar generation. Okay, we do anticipate some loss. In other words, if it says it's 120 watts, you can probably rely on about 75 to 85% of that, due to loss through the wires and poor sunlight. Now, we're in the middle of the forest. The panels are down low, and like I said, getting there and turning them around so that they are facing the sun in the most optimum direction is a pain because of the way they're put together. I think I'm going to come up with some kind of rack to put these on rather than the folding legs they've got on the back of them. Okay, it's time to review right now. What is the task and purpose of the big steel tent? Well, it is a mobile platform which I use to go to the woods, film video, and be able to stay in the woods overnight so I can edit and upload that video. It also provides shelter and transportation for long distance trips, or I go to another location to do basically the same thing. So, where are we now? Number one, the internet, coupled with that Vito Man 1500 watt power station is sufficient to run the internet managed well. Okay, not constantly, but it was on about half the time I was out there. But it will run for an entire weekend, okay, from arrival Friday until departure Sunday. Okay, which also means that it will last a day's worth of driving and an overnight stay, and then it will be recharged by driving the next day. Okay, the internet has been achieved. Okay, I can arrive at a location, whether it's on a trip or at a campsite, and be able to upload video and do research online to get photographs and pictures and things like that to illustrate what I'm talking about. Okay. All right, number 2. Electricity for operation of the vehicle. Okay, and that includes cooking and running the laptop so that I can edit and access the internet. Okay. We know that the Delta right now, if assisted by the solar panels I have, will last an entire weekend. The problem we encountered at the beginning of this 2 weeks ago was that the Delta has a maintenance charge where it takes 2 to 3% of the power of the station in about a 24 to 36 hour period to maintain the system. Okay, so what we need is power input into the Delta. I can do that by driving using the alternator charger. I just don't want to run the charger for the Vitoman and the alternator charger for the Delta at the same time. It will overtax my alternator. I can and will mount a solar panel to the roof of the vehicle so that it will constantly receive a charge from the sun, and I won't need to drive the vehicle in order to restore that maintenance charge. Okay, and while I am driving, it will recharge the vehicle for any use overnight. Okay, it just won't be a lot, but I can run a whole weekend on that, which means I can drive for a day, operate the internet, edit my video, and then get up and drive the next day. Okay. The 2 120 watt solar panels are sufficient to the task, but they're a pain in the ass to operate. Okay. Having said that, I can run a weekend. I can drive from here to New Hampshire, here to Idaho, and be able to sustain myself along the way. Okay. So, what I'm about to say here is that at this moment, this base is operational. It's a fully operational and functioning base. Okay. Now what I need to do is add bells and whistles and come up with a management plan so that I don't use so much electricity out of the Delta in an overnight stay that I have to turn on my alternator charger. So I'm just adding bells and whistles now. The next bell is going to be a roof rack for a couple of solar panels that I have had here for a number of years. Again, the big steel tent is built, a lot of the components in the big steel tent is stuff that I have accumulated over the years as hurricane preparation. And over the years, I've gotten 2 Renogy semi-rigid solar panels that are too big and bulky to handle inside the vehicle, which is why I got the two 120 watt panels. They fold up and have a much more compact package. I'm going to mount those two panels on the roof. One is a 100 watt panel, the other one is a 50 watt panel. Okay, that 100 watt panel will be permanently connected to the Delta so as to maintain the maintenance charge and to charge while mobile or sitting stationary. Okay, the 50 watt panel can assist that 100 watt panel, or I can use it when stationary to keep the Veto Man topped off when it's not getting power from the engine. Get me there? I'm going to build a rack for the two 120 watt panels that will enable me to move them around a lot more easily. It's a royal pain in the ass because they're folding and they've got these little fold out legs, and every time I change the direction, well, I've got to change the direction of 4 panels and whooping up the leg, and it's a pain. Okay, it works, but it's a pain. Okay, so I'm going to build a little rack for that just so I can move it around as a unit. But for right now, this base is fully functioning and operational. We'll see you down the trail.